Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. Got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
Half a day, guys. This is Boss Alvarez over at Joe 10 Motors. Hey, we've got some special for this year's Hand Me Charity Golf Classic on July 26. A glimpse into the future with that's right, a 2026 Kia Sportage as a hole-in-one prize on hole 13. Powerful, rugged, and refreshed with the latest tech and all-wheel drive. The Sportage is perfect for everyday CNMI adventures. So get registered, practice that swing, and win.
That's right. Try your luck and register today at Lau Lau Golf and Resort for the 23rd annual Hand Me Charity Classic Golf Tournament. With our popular blackjack double Peoria format, anyone can win. Only $130 or $110 if you register by July 11th. Awards luncheon and our always awesome raffle after the game at the course. And a portion of our proceeds will benefit the Commonwealth Cancer Association. The Hand Me Charity Classic Golf Tournament on July 26th. From your friends at Hanmi, building a stronger Commonwealth with you since 1985.
If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care. Okay, well that was weird, right? Hey, it's the internet, man. Sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes the internet's just gonna internet, and that's exactly what happened. Anyway, I tried to get the hotspot on right away. It didn't go as quick as I had hoped, so that's what we got. Anyway, we're back, and the good news is we have Senator Manny Castro. He is in studio with us today, and it's really exciting for us because it was a big topic of conversation in yesterday's broadcast, and it was just a real groundbreaking idea about reducing the size of the government here and starting at home with the legislator. Senator Manny Castro, welcome to the studio.
Morning, Brad. Morning, CNMI.
Well, it's great to have you. Can we pull up that microphone just a little bit closer? Sure. People will be able to hear you a whole lot better. All right. So, well, first of all, welcome back. We've had you on here before, and it's great to have you back. And this time, you know, you told us, hey, you got something big coming, and holy cow, is this here? So this is all about reducing the size of the government and doing it starting at the legislature. And my goodness, lots going on.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? This is Senate Legislative Initiative 24-02, and we're looking at it here. Well, I got two things. It's a Senate Legislative Initiative to amend Article 2, Sections 2, 3, and 6 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Northern Marianas to reduce the number of members in the Senate to 6 and the House of Representatives to 7, and to elect members of the House of Representatives at large, and to authorize the members of the legislature to enact local laws concurrently with municipal council members, and to authorize the lieutenant governor to vote in the Senate when there's a tie and for other purposes. You've been busy.
This was on kind of like on the back burner, but because, you know, coming in, we had a lot of other issues with the economy, and but really, this is in line with what the whole concept of why I ran for the Senate. This is in line with the Senate president's mission to kind of like streamline government services and remove all the red tape that's hurting our economy. So if we are gonna start doing that in other agencies, or at least try to in other agencies, we need to start like in-house. Mm-hmm. Having served in the House of Representatives for one term, it was enough to see you know, some of the things I was able to see, and I give huge props to the caller that called in yesterday, Mr. Ray, because he really laid it down. And I would say like that's maybe 100% accurate. Like almost everything he said is pretty much accurate. And that's what I like, you know, like I'm up here representing the people, but what's stronger is when the people speak up and really, especially someone that was here at a time when the economy was booming. I was still young, but I was able to see everything. But like he said, it's the basics. Like when even if you go to high school or college, you're supposed to take at least economics 101. So, you know, the whole concept of a successful economy is imports and exports. So, you know, we need to work on reducing our imports because we import so much. And at the same time, given what President Trump is doing, we need to focus on increasing exports. And we have investors here. But the challenge is a $200 permitting process is blocking a $3 to $4 billion industry from coming in. And these aren't your middleman kind of industry. These are legit United States mainland industry that are here. They've been working with CETA, working with DPL, and that's how it should be. They should be working with those agencies first and then come to the legislature later if there's any problems. And, you know, they've reached out to us, and that's why we're trying to, you know, make a lot of shifts. Zoning was the number one. Again, zoning was the number one request that they need help with.
Wow.
And the amount of legislators we have and the caliber of legislators, like Mr. Ray said yesterday, it's different. If you look at the first, second, third, fourth, fifth legislature, just look at the background of those individuals, where they came from. Not only from a historical context, but academic and credentials context. So these are people that their parents are the survivors of World War II. Yet they hustled and strive to get their credentials and then came back and served our community. One of them is a founding father and a brother to my grandfather, Pete A. Tenorio. So, one thing I like is it's not just because I have a business degree and all of that, and it's really not about your credentials, because like Mr. Kroc said, the guy who started McDonald's, the world is full of educated fools. And you can have someone that's highly credentialed but lacks the common sense, and oftentimes, those are the things challenge. I'm going off into a tangent there, but
Hey, you're a politician now. You have to go on.
I don't know. I'm still having trouble with that because it's like I'm looking at the root issues here, and like Mr. Ray said yesterday, and I 100% agree with him. This is not about getting votes or whatever. This is about solving the problem, and the problem we have in the legislature, which the people, this is not a new concept. There's former legislators that have tried to do this. But the people have been saying, like, this is too much. Like, they feel like they are not getting a lot of people out there feel like they're not getting the results that they're expecting, right? And so the concept behind this is just like a regular, when you're starting everything. If you have a whole bunch of people in a room, it's hard to get things done. But if you have a core group or a core team, the best of the best working on issues, then the outcome's usually going to be better. And then once you have that foundation, you bring it out to the larger group, right? So this initiative, it's not a bill. It's pretty much an initiative that the people, if the legislature pushes it through, the people will have the opportunity to decide which route they want to go. And it's not a finished product because, it's still going to go to committee, and, we have to work on it. There's things that, and a lot of the comments that came up, because I've been looking at the comments, it's like, why not unicameral? And that actually was the first draft to go unicameral. But the challenge with the unicameral is it's going to take more steps. So, we would have to, even U.S. Congress would have to agree with this because it's in the covenant agreement, right? So, and then it's also a harder kind of pill to swallow for because we've been bicameral for years. But does it have to be 7 House of Reps? No, but I just wanted to start at a smaller number, and then maybe we can work our way up. And the same thing with the Senate. Does it have to be 6? But if we're gonna cut the House, maybe we should cut the Senate as well. But again, it's not set in stone. When it goes into committee, we can tweak it further. But the main thing is, if we're gonna look at because we've been deficit spending for years, and when the GDP is down, resources are on a decline, you have to look at your expenses, and at the same time, where can you, because we're really not going to save that much by trimming the legislature, to be honest. 1 point some million, yes, it can go somewhere else, but that's not the whole concept. The concept is the loss of opportunity. There's bills and initiatives or things that legislators have been trying to clean up, but it gets bogged down in committee work, or just, to be honest, sometimes even personality issues. And that's what I love about being in the Senate. It's a smaller group. Despite being in different parties, having different opinions, it can be polar opposites. But at the end of the day, because we're such a small group, it forces you to work together as much as possible and look at the bigger picture. Agree to disagree, but look at the bigger picture.
And that's the best thing. It seems like you guys do a great job of working together, and you in particular, you're not bogged down by all those things. You're just trying to get stuff done. This is just objectively looking at it from the outside, right? You're actually in there, but you're a part of these other things. You're a part of all these other committees and doing all this. Well, let's start digging into this a little bit, because it's great to have you here, and it's such an interesting thing. And, trimming down the member of the House is one thing. That would be enough to get some people like, ooh, what do we do? It's like Lion King, Mufasa, ooh, But for this one, going from 20 down to 7, but then how the 7 are elected. This is what's really, to me, just mind-blowing. I love this idea that they're at large. Can you explain that to everybody?
So that was kind of like the concept to kind of make it compliant, so we don't have to go through extra processes. But when it comes down to, we already have that checks and balances in the Senate, where Rhoda and Tinian, the smaller populations are represented. In fact, if Rhoda and Tinian combine, it outnumbers the bigger population, which is Saipan. So that safety net is already there to make sure that the minority municipalities or districts are represented, and it's not always going to be the bigger population district that's going to get a say in everything. So the way the Senate is designed already kind of balances that. For the House, it's just, again, it's like I said earlier, it's a lot of people. But by reducing the number down, you also get the best of the best. So if you look at today, you'll get even people. And maybe we can do things like some of the comments I've been looking at, they were like, remove the subsistence allowance, and then maybe you can pay legislators more. So that's another thing. That's why people are not running for office, because who's going to run for office at $32,000 a year? Like just myself, I lost this 32. That's like 50% less of what I used to make, right? And that's just my 8 to 5 government job. Not to say the consulting small business that I had to cancel because I'm a legislator now, and I just didn't want conflict of interest. So, being a legislator, there's a lot of things you can still be in business, but it's just sometimes it's better just to not be in business right now, just because of all the our CNMI ethics law is just very strict. When I was director of enrollment at NMC, there were stores or vendors that I deal with, and they'll be like, hey, have this free case of soda or whatever, and it's like, oh, sorry, I can't accept that, right? If you're really following the ethics, you cannot accept simple stuff like a $50 or $100 gift, unless there's other ways, unless it's something related to culture or that person. But usually what I do is oh, you can give it to my staff. But there's it's just so strict. But bottom line, with the elected at large, it also allows an opportunity for Rhoda and Tinian to vote for people that are on Saipan. So it's not just in the House of Representatives, everybody would be their representative. Whether you're from Saipan, you still represent Rhoda. So whether you're from Rhoda, you still represent Saipan. So
all the precincts are gone, right? So it
just becomes districts.
Yeah, so there's going to be, again, it's still work in progress. It's still open to the committee and all that other stuff, right?
Yep.
But right now it would go to just 7 representatives, period. You still have, the senators go from 9 to 6. And then, you could have a tie. So you'd have the lieutenant governor be the person who could break the tie. Just like the vice president of the United States can break a tie in the Senate, right, at 50-50. So on the House side, everybody votes for the 7. So people from Rhoda, Tinian, Saipan, Northern Islands. Everybody's voting for somebody who's running of the 7. It's not just an island-wide race, it's a Commonwealth-wide. There's not just a Tinian representative, there's not just a Rhoda representative. And actually, this probably gives Tinian and Rhoda more representation in the House, because right now, if everybody in Saipan wanted something in the House, well, you've only got one representative in Tinian and one representative in Rhoda. So now the people from Saipan, they need to campaign to the people in Tinian and the people in Rhoda.
And that's the whole concept. I mean, how many times have I been to Rhoda? My grandma's from Rhoda, and it's still the same. You know, you have people moving out. I mean, in the 90s when I would go to Rhoda, it was on Freedom Air or PIA. These were bigger planes that even service, like refreshments. Now we're on the small, like, Cessnas. A lot of the stores are closed. I mean, same thing on Tinian. Like, you know, when the Dynasty was open, we had ferry systems. We had, as a recruiter when I was working for NMC, like it was just happening. And so, you know, we can't just keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. And again, this is not something that we're gonna rush. This is not something that the legislature is gonna just, you know, pass and it becomes law. It's the people ultimately that get to decide. And we're just giving that option to the people. And there's been a lot of vocal people that have been saying this. This is not a new concept, but when you know, in doing my research, I was looking at all the, you know, jurisdictions that did something like this, and the main one was Nebraska. They didn't just not only reduce the size of their legislature, they went from bicameral to unicameral.
Wow.
I believe it was Nebraska. But when I was looking at that specific state, why did they do it? It was the same situation, the economy, and the same feelings that the general public had with the government, and that's why the people of that state voted that way.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, because like what you said, this is not the biggest chunk of everything, right? You know, it's only $2 million, but it's a $2 million start at trying to be more fiscally responsible.
So it's not really about the costs of that, because $2 million, that's like, that will go by like really fast. The bigger thing is the amount of revenue we're losing for inaction. Right? Like I was saying, like when we don't fix a lot of the key problems that are plaguing our economy, we lose on the opportunity. And that's the challenge with having a big government. A lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy. Like a lot of these policies, like, you know, there was someone from one agency, it was customs, and you know, I was talking to that person, and it was like, hey, how's everything? And it's like, oh, Senator, man, it's not looking good because the imports are down. And I was like, man, that should be a good thing. In terms of the economy, like less imports should be better. But of course, you know, you need exports too. But less imports means that people are buying more things on island. You know, if they're not buying things, maybe there's more local supply. Like, so for, you know, I remember growing up, we didn't buy atoti. Atoti is the seed that you use to make red rice. We didn't buy that. We had trees, and we, you know, used the seeds, and then we made atoti. Nowadays, we're importing atoti. We're importing ice cubes from Korea. So I went into the store one day, and I was like, I told the store owner, you know, you can easily just get ice from Saipan Ice and put it in a cup and sell it, rather than importing this.
Ice cubes?
Ice cubes.
You're
importing
kidding.
ice cubes from Korea.
That is insane.
In a cup, right? So it's ice cup. But it's convenience, right? But these are the things, like, things that can be, We're even importing water. We have Saipanai, Star Water. We have a water company in Rhoda. We have a water company in Tinian, like Huangshun, like that's another one. Like, we should be increasing production of those, and especially with the tariffs, incentivizing those companies to like export.
Wow, yeah.
I even met with a water company, like just to say, hey, you know, there's tariffs going on in the United States. I think you guys should reach out to these suppliers in Asia and do a joint venture and bottle for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, just ideas are free. It's up to the people if they want to, you know, run with it.
I can't believe they're importing ice cups. That's insane.
Yeah, I know we're going off but again, this initiative is linked to, you know, like, yeah, I heard a comments like, you know, he's supposed to be working on economic recovery. Well, if we don't solve this root problem, we're always gonna have an issue with our economy.
Well, this seems to me like it is the economic recovery, because you're starting to be fiscally responsible right here by taking a sober look at our situation and saying, look, our population has declined quite a bit, and even if it hadn't, we're not getting as much productivity out of this, and we're gonna get the best of the best. Like you said, you're gonna get the best of the best. I was thinking about this, like, who would be upset? Who wouldn't be in favor of this? And it would be the people who would be worried about losing their jobs as a legislator. It's like, oh man, I need to have a bigger number just so I have a better chance of getting in.
And to be honest, I did not want to leave my career at NMC. I enjoyed working there. It's like, it's beyond a career. It's like family. Like, that's the one thing about that. When you get politics out of government, organizations can really work for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our problem in a lot of our agencies. We have too much politics in a lot of our agencies. You have maybe a team of 20, but really only 4 people are doing the job. And we need to cut that.
Oh, we have that in our volunteer organizations too.
I know, but I'm just saying, when we have to look at, you know, and I'm not saying we're just going to fire people. Maybe they shouldn't be, maybe they have another place that they'll be more passionate about working in.
Mm-hmm.
When you have passion for the career or the agency or the job that you're at, you're going to outperform, right? You're going to go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just got the job just because so-and-so is your uncle or what, like, it's more entitlement.
No,
right?
You're right. You're right. You know, it was funny. I had an opportunity to take a position with someone, and like right at the beginning, they're like, "Oh, you know who would be great for you to hire is this person and this person." I'm like, "All right, I already know I can't take this job because like I can't, like I need to, you know, take a look at who it is, and I don't want them to come in here saying, well, so and so is the one who put me in here, so you really can't tell me what to do." You know, like those kind of things.
And you know, when I got back from college in the States, like I had a lot of I could have used that. I had a lot of family members in government, and I was like, I didn't want anyone to know who my grandfather was or who my uncle was. And even to this day, like I was offered key positions, and I can't work for you because I'm gonna be telling you no. And it's hard for a nephew to tell an uncle, sorry, you can't do that. But more back into the bill.
Yes.
Also, we have a municipal council that is underutilized. And if you look at other jurisdictions, a lot of the local or county ordinances, municipal ordinances, that's really the job of the municipal council or the county, the municipality or the county. It's not the job of the state, right? So right now, like for example, sanitation, things like that, usually that's the county. Like, I know the hospital might not like this because it's a source of revenue, but some of these policies really should be happening at the local level, not the state level. And by doing this, you allow the state, the CNMI legislature, and of course we're not a state, but the definition of a state, yes, we are. We're not one of the 50 states, but the definition of a state. So the CNMI at the state level, which is more big, like broader policies, broader laws, like things that affect the district only or the municipality. The council should be focused on that. And by opening this up, you also open the opportunity for more people to want to run for the council.
Well, that's the thing. I've had this conversation with folks before. I'm like, what does the municipal council do here? I mean, it just seems like it's a great thing to have, but I don't know what they actually do.
Like Mr. Ray said yesterday when he called, like there's a disparity between the municipal councils of Saipan and then the municipal councils of Tinian and Rhoda. Rhoda and Tinian, actually, their council members have more power. The council should be like the board to the mayor, right? Just like that, in my opinion, like the budget, the council should control that, and the mayor is the CEO, and the council kind of like does the regulation. It shouldn't be like, as much as that's gonna affect me, because if we lose the delegation funds, our office is gonna lose funds. But at the same time, like, which is gonna be more, I would rather see that power go closer to the people. And how close can you get when it goes to the municipal, right? That's really close. So, and at the same time, someone also mentioned about increasing the salary of legislators, and yep, that's a benefit of reducing if you increase the salary, it doesn't have to be crazy, but it should be at least a director level.
It should be double.
Yeah.
You guys should be making double what you're making now, but you gotta. Well, I would say there's some other stuff, but like if you're going to be a lawmaker, you shouldn't be making like $30,000, like a low-level exempt employee at some company.
Yeah. So, or if we are, allow us to keep our regular jobs, and we just come in, like how Texas does it. It's like a per diem basis. But
so here's funny. So I've got this on the screen now for people to see it. This is just on with both of us on there, but it's a comparison of all the legislators' like base salaries all around, right? So like Alabama's $53,000, Alaska $50,000, Arizona $24,000. But then again, they get all kinds of per diem and all this other stuff, and they're not like full time like everybody else. Arkansas is like $44,000. California, $119,000, almost $120,000. Colorado is $40,000. It says for legislators residing within 50 miles of the capital, they also get $45 a day. And if you live more than 50 miles from the capital, it's $234 a day. And basically that means like if you're going to have to stay overnight. Connecticut is $28,000, super low. Delaware, $48,000. But again, the amount of that per diem is based on when they're working, and a lot of these guys are part-time and they do everything else.
Yes.
Florida, $29,000. Georgia, $17,000. Wait, if you think some of these numbers are wild, just wait. Again, and these guys aren't there 24/7 like you guys are. Hawaii's at $62,000, right? And more if you don't reside in Oahu. Idaho, just 18. But again, their schedule is way different. Illinois, 70,000. Indiana, again, that's smaller one, 28,000. Iowa, 28,000. Kansas, they get nothing. What they get paid is $88.66 per session day. So, and their per diem rate's $155 a day, and it's tied to the continental United States. So that doesn't count if they were to take a trip to like Europe or something like that. Kentucky, again, same thing. They only get $188 per calendar day they're actually working. And when they have a session day is what it's called. Kansas is called session day. Kentucky's called calendar day. Louisiana, $16,000. Maine, $15,000 for the first regular session, and then $10,000, just under $11,000, $10,999 for the second regular session. That's a weird number. I don't understand it. But so there again.
Was that Texas?
No, that's Maine. And again, the main thing is that they're not doing it all the time. There's a really, really, really low number in here. Hold on one second. Nebraska, like you were talking about, $12,000. New Hampshire, $100. No per diem. It's just $100. You are doing that with your regular job and everything else. New Mexico, $0. You get paid nothing as a legislator. You only get 165 per day per diem. Sorry, for January and February, 194 for March, and it's all tied to the federal rate, and it goes up to 202 when it got bumped up. But anyway, so some of these guys, it's a full-time job. Some of these guys, it's not a full-time job, and you can see the difference of it for all the stuff. But for us, Texas, that's $7,200 for the whole year. Utah is a lot of these states here. You can see that they just do it per day when they're actually doing the legislative sessions and stuff like that. So, like for us, and here's Northern Marianas, $32,000, and I don't even.
What's Guam?
Guam's down there. I just saw it. Nothing, because there's no representatives. This is for the House, House representatives, like for bicameral legislators. Same with like Puerto Rico, not available.
So the main thing is also the expectations, right? So a lot of these states, they have full-time jobs elsewhere, then they come in when there's a session called.
Mm-hmm.
Here, as a smaller community, I feel like there's more expectations. You know, there's a lot of cultural things that that the people expect you to be there at, or be a part of, or support. So that's the whole concept. I'm not complaining to, 32. I just know that I'm probably not gonna be. I have to figure out something like in the future, like, because 32 is not. But so all those government employees that are making 32 or less, some of us feel you,
Yeah, well, think about that though. Like, so you're an idealistic guy. You're going in there to try and trim the fat from the whole thing, and trying to get people to be more productive, and at this low rate. Also, you think about like some of these guys who have been career politicians. There's got to be a lot more going on for them than $32,000 a year. Where's that coming from? I know that's not your topic today, but like, there's a reason why they would stay in that kind of a job and not try to get a higher thing. It can't just be because of the coolness factor.
So, I think Mr. Ray yesterday covered most of it. Sometimes it's about title, prestige. For me, it's an honor to serve, but to really to get things done, right? But yeah, I don't know if I want to really go into that.
No, but
there's and that's why there's an opportunity. If just like an officer, and our officers get paid crap, and we need to change that. And whether the economy's down or what, like you pay law enforcement so low, you basically you're gonna get the results of that, the effects of that, right? That's why one of the bills that I tried to push was to increase pay for law enforcement, because it's easy to for organized crime to put an officer on payroll. It's really easy. Like, officers go in. Organized crime is 24/7, right? For those, and you look at the amount of overtime, like, you might as well really put the money in and pay officers what they deserve. But anytime you have a salary that is not, it's a challenging salary. It's an opportunity for You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an opportunity. So that's why judges get paid so much, right? So like that's why the governor's salary is so high. It's supposed to be a beyond reproach, right? Like where that doesn't leave that open to folks. But,
And it doesn't have to be like 32 is fine, but it's like it's fine if we're able to operate like the other states, where they have full-time jobs elsewhere. And then they come in and work for a session, like when there's a session. So that way, because I have colleagues, like I'm part of the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education Legislative Advisory Committee. So I meet with a lot of the state legislators in the West Coast every year, right? So we sit down and we talk, and I know how much like the way they operate. Some of them, they meet like once they call a session, it's like for the next 30 days consecutively, and they just try to pass a whole bunch of stuff. Like I think that's only one state. Majority of them, they have full-time jobs or businesses, and then their legislative work is part-time, so they come when there's a session. Here in the CNMI, it's like majority of our people expect you to be full-time. They expect you to be to show up at certain community events. They expect you to be around.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's a great campaign. One of the guys in Tinian, I was surprised. I was having a conversation. I'm like, wow, he just cleans up every year. And, I was like, yeah, because he goes everywhere. He doesn't talk a whole lot about all this other stuff, but he's everywhere. If something's happening, he'll be there.
Yep.
If you need something, he'll be there. And like all that other stuff, and people are there. It works. So like I get the personal relationship part. People actually going out and doing all that stuff. I totally understand it. But with this one here, again, the best of the best is what ended up happening. People would really be competing for these jobs.
Yep.
The one thing that always bothered me a little bit is that people would be forced to take a leave of absence during the campaign if they have a government job.
Yeah, so that's a big one.
Because there's a lot of people who are in the government now who I think could be great elected leaders, but how, everybody's different. I cannot imagine having to take 3 months off of work with no pay just on the chance that maybe I'm going to get elected, right? I don't know a lot of people who could do that.
So I was lucky because I was a workaholic at NMC, so I had so much annual leave that it was enough to carry me on. But like there was 2 pay periods where it was like unpaid during that campaign process. But again, that's the whole concept. There's a lot of great talent within our government, within the private sector, but really the way our policies are, there's no incentive for those that are in government to be, to run, because they're either they already make a lot in whatever agency they're working at, or they can't take that they can't lose those 2, or they don't have the hours to.
Right.
When you have to be on leave.
And I understand that there's things that you can't do while you're working, right? So maybe they did that just to alleviate the temptation, or for lines to be blurred or anything.
Yeah.
So hey, you're on leave. That way, hey, no one could say anything. But I mean, you got OPA, who their job is to make sure that to deal with all those ethical complaints, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's difficult. I feel like a lot of people aren't able to run for office because of that. Otherwise, they would, without that in place, they'd be able to be good leaders. So, anyway, good stuff. This is amazing. I love this idea. I think the only people who would not want this to go through are people who are worried that they wouldn't win an election if there's only, like in the House, on the House side, if there's only 7. And in the Senate, there's only 2. I think that each one of the municipalities gains more influence. They have the ability to do more things. There's less personalities to deal with. It's more representative of the entire community. This seems like a home run.
The other thing is, like even me, when I was a representative, you always hear me say precinct 2, precinct 2, precinct 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's good. But at the same time, like making it elected at large would open that. So it's like you'll see projects happening everywhere. Like not just because I represent precinct 2 or precinct 3 that we're going to push this because there's more of us in precinct 3. You see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like precinct 1 has 6 representatives, precinct 3 has 6, Cagman has 2, or like precinct 5, Cagman, Canatabla, and some part of San Vicente, Papago. I mean, so, by default, some precincts will, they have more voting power, but like if we put that all together when it comes to the appropriation side, maybe, we might see it more as a synergize and one kind of like infrastructure situation. Like, like this road, like, right? If like the governor decided and DPW decided, let's do this whole stretch, right? But if we were doing it by precinct, like it would be like, okay, we have money in precinct 2, let's just do that side first. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, for this, I was trying to think about, like, again, trying to put myself in a position, like, who wouldn't want to do it and why wouldn't they want to do it? Like, maybe the first glance, the people at Tinian and Rhoda would feel like maybe without having a dedicated Tinian or, Tinian or Rhoda representative, they would not have a voice in the House. But it's just the opposite, because anybody who's running is representing them. Okay. Everybody is running as representing Tinian, Rhoda, and Saipan.
A prime example is Delegate Kim, former Congressman Kilili. Like, basically, they represent the whole CNMI. So, in essence, if all the House of Representatives were elected at large, they represent the whole CNMI. I mean, they still do right now. It's just their allegiance is not just to one precinct. Their allegiance will be to all precincts.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to get in. I know we had a bunch of comments that came in, and I just want to check them out real quick and see if I can see if any questions came your way. And I know that we would have had more folks on the YouTube side. By the way, there's a whole bunch of images coming in on something that went down at Bank Pacific. We'll be posting that later today. But first, let me go to what we got here on the broadcast. Let me turn this down because I know what's going to happen there. And it's just easier for me to check the comments on this side. They end up rolling up. It's weird. Anyway, thanks again for being here with us today, Senator Manny Castro. This is groundbreaking Senate legislative initiative that could reduce the size of the legislature. All right, here we go. This one says they should also have community service requirements in order to run. That's from Juan Nenden. Tao Saipan says salary pay should be based on your education level. The higher your education, the higher the pay. I know that works in the private sector. Let's see. And it does work for a lot of the hiring ones, too. Let's see. Yeah, we were talking about the municipal council earlier. Ann's like, yeah, my late grandmother used to work for the municipal council, and up till today, I don't know what it's there for. A lot of other ideas. See if there's any particular question that came in about it. And no, I think all this stuff, the big questions that we would have had, we got a lot of them yesterday when we were knocking it out and talking about it. But wow, this is great. I love this idea. It's forward-thinking stuff. We're not getting as many fresh ideas. I like this. This is like a real big change. It seems like everybody does safe legislation these days. Like this thing's actually changing.
Man, Ray, he really hit it right on the nail. That's the difference between a public servant and a politician. And I try, you know, I'm already labeled as a politician because I'm in this space. But as much as possible, I try to stay true to that, being a public servant. So things might be popular or not popular. I'm here to look at the issue and look at the root problem of that issue and try to get it solved.
I love it.
Whether or not it affects the campaign or what, like, to be honest, I can be anywhere else, but I respect the honor that the people bestowed upon me, and I'm gonna stay true to that and keep working.
That's great. Words of wisdom from one of the youngest members that we have in the legislature. And that's where we got this great idea. I mean, I'm a big fan. All right, we're going to be wrapping up because we're getting toward the end of it anyway. We're getting close to 9 o'clock. Do you have anything else that you wanted to get out there? Let people know about the other things that you got going on, or any acknowledgments for anybody?
I just want to give acknowledgement to all the agencies that are working with the investors that are coming in. Acknowledgement to the different agencies and cabinet members that are working with those investors. Acknowledgement to the governor for there's a lot of things he's actually doing, and this is not political. It's one thing to send your cabinet members to meet with investors. It's another thing for the governor himself to go and meet with those investors. So, I just hope that we don't block any of these potential economic activity. I want to give a shout out to my colleagues at the Senate and the House for working together and looking at the bigger picture. At the end of the day, this initiative is for the people to decide. I strongly encourage my colleagues to really take a look at this bill, tweak it if need be, but ultimately, let's give that opportunity to the people.
All right. Hey, before we go, we did have a phone call that came in. Halfadades on Tiro, thanks for calling the show. Who's this?
Very good morning, Brad and Senator Castro. This is Ray.
Oh, hey, Ray. Thanks for calling back.
Ray, yeah. One thing that I forgot to mention yesterday, when we're trying to
Ray, just 1 second. Senator's going to put these headphones on so he can hear you a little bit. All right, can you hear him now? Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, going back to the legislature discretionary fund, right? We all know that they're not accounted for, and I think the office of the what you call it, public auditor. And I don't know if we still have a public auditor, a full-time public auditor. I strongly believe that every taxpayer's money should be audited. And that's where the legislature continue to not be transparent. They all know for a fact that all those monies that they're inserting into their budget for the legislature should be accounted for. And I think that's something that if I'm a congressman, I will put that on the table. And there's nothing to hide. If you're true and you're honest with yourself and you have ethics, what's there to hide? Okay, so that's one thing that legislature are very adamant about it. And then it's been years that we try to say be accounted for. If you want the departments to be accounted for, the executive branch has to be accounted for, then the legislature has to be accounted for. How are you spending taxpayers' money? And then a lot of times, I always said, if you're a true leader and you have ethics, remove the immunity. because you're being true public servant. You know, immunity allows elected leaders to be careless, and that's something that we need to really be honest to the taxpayers. And the other thing that I wanted to mention as far as the economy, the market landscape has changed. A lot of people that are pushing the economy to strive or thrive, most of them buy online. They purchase things online. Even the people that are promoting the economy, they purchase things online. So how are we going to help our internal economy when everybody's shopping online? That is something they need to look at. So, Manny, Senator Castro, like I said, I'll tell you personally, your ethics is the same as my ethics. Like I said, if Scandal no longer produce in the department or the division or whatever position you have, step down and give it to the new generation to step up. That's my mentality. We tend to keep people in a position that is already obsolete. That's why I said we are obsolete at times. You may graduated from college in 1976. Those methods and principles are no longer effective. So and let's not let's be mindful between smart and intelligent. You may be book smart, but you're not intelligent. So let's not continue to punish our people because they didn't have the opportunity to go to college or they don't have the degree to set their foot in the workforce, but they're intelligent. That's common sense. Because I'll tell you, and I'm not trying to put down, there's so many people with degrees don't have common sense. And sometimes I look at them and I say, where the heck did you graduate it? So I don't mean to be rude in a way, but like my professor said once, it doesn't mean that you have a degree that you have the answers to the world or to the issue or the results. You got to go out there and experience it and live with it and be a doer. And Manny is a doer. There's not many people in Saipan that are doers. They could care less about reputation. They're careless about getting results. And that's one thing I admire about Manny, right, Mr. Senator Castro. And I think if we need to address the economy internally, we need to look at remittance. We need to look at online purchasing. That's part of the economy. But we're losing so much money. The market has changed, has transformed to online purchasing. That's all I wanted to share.
Hey, Ray, before you go, real quick, I want to say that, you're right. I have a couple of takes on it, but let me ask Senator Manny. Manny, do you have anything for Ray?
Actually, we're on the same page. You heard me earlier when I was talking about Mr. Kroc, who made McDonald's what it is today. And what Mr. Kroc would say is, the world is full of educated fools. And when he said that, it's in reference to the same concept that you're talking about. It's not just about the credential you have, it's about the experience. And that's why I was talking about our founding fathers, our legislators that were in the very beginning of our Commonwealth. Is they had to go through the struggle. Their parents were World War II survivors. They didn't get all these scholarships. They had to work hard. They weren't even U.S. citizens yet when they were going to further their education. Some of them were on Navy scholarships. Some of them had to live with host families. It's a very different dynamic when you struggle. I get, even with myself, a lot of people thought I was one of those entitled just because of who my grandfather was, but because my grandfather was a World War II survivor, and then on my dad's side, they were both in World War II. My grandma was born in the 1912. My grandfather served, for both sides of the military, first the Japanese, then the Naval Administration, and just hearing all their stories and how they got to where they're at, and So again, one thing, earlier you told me about any shout outs. I want to give a shout out to my Uncle Joe, former commissioner of DPS, one of the few commissioners that went to the FBI Academy and went through that training and got a credential from the FBI, and also, got his bachelor's degree. But one thing, my Uncle Joe, retired DPS commissioner, he always taught me when I was going to college was, when you look at a case, or if you're studying something, or in any investigation, you have to remove your family ties, your personal relationships, and look at the facts and the evidence. So that's the same way I look at every issue. I look at the facts and the evidence, and I do my research. A shout out to my grandfather, Manuel A. Tenorio, who was, who used to be CEO of UMDA, or president or CEO of UMDA, which owned like Continental Air Micronesia. So he taught me a lot on leadership and grit, and at the same time that we really have to work for our people. And also my dad, the late, he recently passed away, Rodrigo M. Castro. He never finished his college degree. He didn't even finish high school. What he always told me is that respect is paramount. And that's and really shout out to my mom, because she really, taught me the other side, how to be a good dad and how to be a good family person. So there's a lot of experiences that maybe are not public that made me who I am today. So a shout out to the many other uncles and aunts, and even to all the nuns from Sister Remedios preschool. Shout out to all. Sister Puri, rest her soul, and Nansiste, my auntie. So it's really, there's a lot of people that made me who I am today, and I want to say thank you to everyone. If I didn't call out your name, thank you.
That's great.
Quick question, Brad.
Yes, sir.
Just curious, or I wanted to kind of dig inside or dig in depth with Senator Castro. Since you're in the circle of all these challenges with our economic, external and internal, what is really the problem, or what is really the bureaucracy that's holding CNMI from moving forward with our economic recovery?
In my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I feel like
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but just to get a glimpse.
There's a multitude of issues, but I think we need to right-size our government. Meaning, we need to get the right people in the right places, so that when industry comes in, they aren't a barrier to entry. And like I said earlier, the governor's been a little quiet, but about all these things. Maybe he's waiting for it to be MOSA, to be right. But there's some really serious investors coming in, and even when I was in precinct 2 as a representative, there's even smaller business that invested in Saipan, but at the same time they've expressed what their concerns were with. So there's a lot of things that we need to take a look at. Our tax system, the way we collect tax, the way we provide services. So what do I mean? It's like other jurisdictions like the Republic of Palau, they got rid of the BGR. And now they have, not completely, but they focus more on the Palau sales and service tax. So the solution, like for me, the solution is is enforcement of the law, but also looking at the law and seeing if it's helping or hurting us. And in many cases, the law can be good, but the department that is responsible for enforcing the law either isn't funded adequately, or we don't have the right person in there to be innovative and get it to where it needs to be. So, for example, when I said Palau sales and service tax, like the benefit of having a sales tax versus BGR, like that can be studied. And I know I was told that former Governor Eloy Enos was really looking into that at one point to transition to a sales tax versus the BGR. But the benefit is, especially if you really involve the technology in it. So, for example, if finance had we're able to sync into the point of sales of every store, every vendor that was making a sale, and the taxes are assessed on site in real time, we don't need to project our revenue. We would know up to the minute how much money we have in the bank. And that's where a lot of times we miss the projection because we're waiting for people to pay their tax. And, but this can all be changed, like even at the port when the tax is assessed. So the technology is there, but ultimately you can have the Rolls Royce of technology, but if your people are not trained, if you don't provide the educational opportunity, the professional development to upskill your workforce, your technology is not going to work. And that's the situation we have, for example, with Munis. I haven't dealt with a lot of the financial databases or programs, but I've dealt with databases. And, like, for example, when I've dealt with databases, and even just my first time looking at working with Munis, there's a lot of features that we're underutilizing. Rather than, like just to process like a contract or something, the process has changed. And it's all because the interpretation of, a certain, like, let's say someone interprets this that way, right? And that can be a problem, is the interpretation. So to process like a contract, instead of me just signing it and the legal counsel signing it and uploading it into the system, my staff have to physically walk to the Secretary of Finance and submit a wet signature and give it to her. Once she signs it, they have to bring it back to the office and upload it, and then it goes to like a whole bunch of other people. So in essence, your process just defeated the whole purpose of the system. So we don't have a systems problem, we have a process problem.
Well, here's an example that I think countered being a grant writer. What CNMI really lacks is data. Yeah. And that's really the problem that I go through with each department when I try to get information or data to justify my narratives or to justify the budget. And without data, it's very difficult to get grants to push forward. Mm-hmm. And remember, insular areas are competing for a grant. And that's something that if we're really going to move forward with federal grants, we need to upgrade our system, that each department can have information, or for the sake of privacy or whatever, whatnot. But any vital information in regards to data or budget projection or collections or whatnot should be in place so that people that are writing grants have access to those informations. And the other thing that CNMI needs to be very focused or pay attention to the covenant. The covenants really spelled out CNMI's journey. But many of our leaders don't understand the covenant. Our forefathers, fathers that that really push forward for this covenant to move. And we are very unique in the United States, and we are the most unique entity under the United States flag. We're the only one that has this covenant agreement. And it's there. Everything is there. No elected leaders reading the covenant. We were exempt from federal tax. We have no, where we have tariff, we have Jones Act, we have whatever, the submerged land. Those are it's spelled out in the covenant. And I think sometimes the Constitution doesn't spell the intent of the covenant. And then every leader should research. I mean, I went to high school at Marianas High School, but I never heard of covenant. Mm-hmm. So when I came back from school, I spent my time and I asked the crafters of this covenant, like Oscar Rosa or other people that wrote this or were part of the covenant. Really, it's a very complex doctrine because it's very, you have to pay attention. I mean, honestly, we really lose out a lot of things when it comes to God with cinema without not having the knowledge of what's in the covenant. And we fail to maximize the covenant because I'm not sure whether it's people are just ignorant or don't understand the importance of the covenant. I called several legislatures about the covenant. None of them know which sections I'm talking about. It's sad because you're making legislation. And you need to incorporate the law, what's dictated in the covenant. So, you all have to remember, the United States doesn't own cinema, right? But we have to remember the territorial clause. When it comes to national security, the United States Congress can execute that without the permission of the Commonwealth of Cinema or Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And that's where we have to be very cautious. And I just want our leaders to really look at the covenant and try to discuss that in their session and try to understand the magnitude of the covenant.
Hey, Ray.
That's all I'm going to say.
Ray, I want to say thanks for calling in today. I know Senator Castro's got some stuff he's got to get to today also. And also, we've got some breaking news that we're going to have to post
Brad,
here.
I thought I'd just share that, and I think the concerns that many of our community is the legislature needs to be transparent with their expense.
Yep.
That's all. If you want to be transparent, where government wants to be transparent, then the legislature has to be transparent as well. There's a lot of technology that they can post up their expenditure. There's nothing to hide, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks so much. All right, that's Ray giving us a call and getting us updated. I want to say thanks so much. Hey, I know I really need to go, but I want to say that we did get another question, and I wanted to get in because Easton Dela Cruz. First of all, Easton, thanks for watching. He had a question. He's like, "Hey, what if you change it a little bit about what if you still have a representative from Tinian and from Rhoda, and then Saipan has 4 or 5 or something like that?" So I figured I would give that one to you before we go. It's just an idea from him.
I think that's going to be an issue with the. That's the whole concept. It's going to have the same problems of going to a unicameral.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it was like election at large. So that's kind of the reason our legal counsel is like, okay, we won't come into this problem if we made it election at large.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I really got to go. There's this stuff going on with this break-in for a ATM over at the Bank Pacific. Yeah, well, we were talking about the economy and everything like that. I mean, that's another thing. I got to put together this story real quick and get it out because DPS is looking for this guy. But everyone's looking for you now because of this. You are on the move and making some new legislative initiatives like this. I want to say thanks so much for making the time to come in here today. I know you were busy yesterday, but coming in today was great. Is there anything that you want to hit before we go?
That's about it. I think I went a little too deep into some areas, but I just want to thank the community. Thank you to Mr. Ray for calling in, and it saved a lot of time because he pretty much hit the nail like yesterday. So thank you. And thank you, Easton, for our future governor of the CNMI. Keep striving out there in Hawaii, and I think he's also in the mainland too.
Yeah, Bruce Camacho just said, why don't you install an ATM at Brad's office? Yeah, thanks a lot. That's all I need, Bruce. Thanks so much. All right, you guys. Hey, we're going to say thanks to Senator Manny for coming in and spending time with us today. Before we go, I'm just going to put this out here for you guys so you can see it. This is who DPS, oh, no, it didn't go across the right way. Hold on. I had it on there, but you guys got to see. Here, that's why. Boom, there we go. This is who DPS is looking for right now. If he looks familiar to you, we're going to put the whole post together, but somebody broke in, not just vandalized. They have really tore apart the ATM machine at Bank Pacific over there in Garapan across from Fishing Base. I've got some videos that we'll share with you guys in just a moment after we get off the show today. But if you know who this is, you can call DPS at 911, call them immediately, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 if you don't want to get your name out there. Hey, these guys, they are looking for him right now. Here, let's put this up there. And just in case you don't know it, but that is the Crime Stopper info. You can call them if it leads to an arrest. The information that you give them, if it leads to an arrest, you can get up to $1,000. Hey guys, these are the good guys trying to help find the bad guys. So that's it. If you know who this is, call DPS. If you don't want them to know who you are, call Crime Stoppers, 234-7272. It pays to call, so give it a shot. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to wrap it up. I want to say thanks to Senator Manny, and thanks to you guys for watching. We'll be right back.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
All right, Marianas, again, this is breaking news. This is who the DPS is looking for right now. If you know who it is, give them a call. If you don't want your name attached to it, you don't want to give them your information, you just want to help fight this crime, then you call them at Crime Stoppers, 234-7272, where they just want your information, not your name. This happened We got a whole bunch of these popping in during that interview, and we got an official press release from DPS, and we're going to show you some of the video. This is it here. We'll maximize it so you guys can see it too. I mean, the guy legit took apart the ATM machine. He's looking around. Is he trying to stomp it open? He's got his sandals. No, those are Crocs. So this just happened today, like last night. And so DPS is looking for this guy, whether it's him or any information. This is it, though. This is from Bank Pacific. There's a second video that we've got as well. So again, we're going to post this as a another video, but this is the guy. He walks up there with some tools. He's like, all right, well, let's get to work. And then he starts taking it apart and pulls it off the wall. So guys, DPS is looking for this guy. I mean, and they sent us some photos of it too. This is what it looked like when officers got there. They found this machine like this. So, I mean, that guy just walked right in there like he owned the place. And then you saw the video from the security camera that was right there. So this is from Bank Pacific across from Fishing Base in Saipan. So not a good thing at all. And now DPS is looking for this man. If you recognize him, reach out to them. Again, for Crime Stoppers, it's a great call. You know, you can get up to $1,000 if it leads to an arrest. So don't waste any time. Call them, let them know. All right, guys. Well, anyhow, that's what we've got for you for today. We're going to put together a little thing for that, and then we got a meeting to go to now. So that's what we've got. I want to say thanks to Senator Manny for joining us today. That was awesome. Thanks to you guys in the comments. Thanks to Ray for the call. You guys got calls. That's what we do. So, all right, we got to get hustling now.